wanted to just kind of catch up on some old stuff, and yeah, feel free to just like come in, chat, say hi, and all that other fun stuff. I'm gonna be playing some music, but if you guys want to like chime in and all that other fun stuff, be my guest. Let's see, wonder who's on my mail right now. I guess nobody has a mail set right now. So I'm just gonna do like my usual 30 minutes or so. Maybe it'll probably hit an hour, depending on like my mood and also my energy. That's good apple juice. Well, it's a quiet day. Maybe I'll actually just change it up a little bit. I'm gonna probably just put on the screen and see. Let's see what's on. Mm, yeah, let's see. For fun, let's do Mark Plier. Or, no, not that one. Let's see. If anyone got a suggestion on all this stuff, feel free to like let me know. Um, Oh, whoops.
But also befriend my friends. Suicide and cutting threats. Made up friends and she then said if I tried to push past her she'd tell everyone I attacked her, and who were they going to believe? What's been your crazy experience when you rejected a woman? I rejected a girl once, then about 2 to 3 months later, I was catfished by her. She was only proving that I'd end up going out with her anyway. By pretending to be somebody then about 2 to 3 months later, I was catfished by her. She was only proving that I'd end up going out with her anyway. Completely different. A police report and a restraining order later, she's out of my life. To be fair, I was totally into the girl at first, so my rejection might have stung a little more. We were friends with benefits and she was legitimately super attractive to me. Just, as time went on, I learned more and more about her that made me not want to be with her. Sex her, sure, but not like, build a life together. So when she made the move for more than friends with benefits, and I said no, she told me she was going to go have sex with a dude she knew I hated, film it, and send it to me. They're married now, with kids. So, I mean, good on them I guess. Freshman year in high school, a girl I didn't really know came up to me and said I was cute and that I should go out with her. My initial impression was that she was pretty cute, but that I wasn't really interested in dating at the time and I didn't really know her well enough to want to date her, so I politely declined. She seemed to take it well enough and we both went about our day. Next morning I walk up to my locker where her 3 older brothers, sophomore, junior, and senior, were all standing around my locker, giving me a death glare. Not knowing who these guys were, I asked if I could get to my locker and they surrounded me. They proceeded to ask me things like if I thought I was too good for their baby sister and what my problem was. I guess they were sent by her to intimidate me into dating her or something, because they said I would be given a second chance to make the right decision. I politely declined again, though this time definitely afraid of a beating, but they just called me weak and went about their day. Such a bizarre day. I was graduating from my master's, had a low self-esteem and my ex was really hinting that she wanted to get married. I didn't, was super clear on that. She broke it off right before I went to visit my parents for about a week. I was a bit bummed out on the way home and a couple of days after, then she called and said she wanted to talk when I got back. By then, I had the feeling she would want to get back together if we got engaged or married. And that's exactly what happened. When I got back she acted like everything is fine and talking about us getting serious. After that we went, sat down and told her it was over. I was angry, she was suicidal. She even ran to the kitchen and got a knife and threatened to slit her wrists. I pulled the knife away after getting cut myself and locked her in my bathroom where nothing sharp was there, and called a friend of mine to give us a ride so I can leave her at her house. At that point I didn't want to leave her at a cabin act crazy and missing or something. That's not the end of it, it had just begun. Next morning I woke up to 30 texts and 5 missed calls. I decided to ignore them. It escalated to 40 a day and 20 missed calls for about a week. Then notes in my car.
Actually, no, let's do something fun. Hmm.
Up in the sky, look! It's a bird! It's a plane! It's Superman!
In the endless reaches of the universe, there once existed a planet known as Krypton. a planet that burned like a green star in the distant heavens. There, civilization was far advanced and had brought forth a race of supermen whose mental and physical powers were developed to the absolute peak of human perfection. But there came a day when giant quakes threatened to destroy Krypton forever. One of the planet's leading scientists, sensing the approach of doom, placed his infant son in a small rocket ship and sent it hurtling in the direction of the Earth just as Krypton exploded. The rocket ship sped through star-studded space, landing safely on Earth with its precious burden, Krypton's sole survivor. A passing motorist found the uninjured child and took it to an orphanage. As the years went by and the child grew to maturity, he found himself possessed of amazing physical powers. Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. The infant of Krypton is now the man of steel, Superman. To best be in a position to use his amazing powers in a never-ending battle for true justice, Superman has assumed the skies of Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper.
Kent, I want to see you. Just received another threatening note.
Okay, Mr. White.
Lois, another note from the mad scientist.
Coming in, Chief.
Listen to this warning.
Puts
He
asleep.
plans to strike tonight. Beware, you fools. My electrothanasia ray strikes tonight at 12. Total destruction will come to those who laughed at me and failed to heed my warning. Beware, I strike at midnight. This nut may prove dangerous. Kent, you help Lois follow up her lead. She may have an angle on this thing.
Yes, sir.
But, Chief, I'd like the chance to crack the story on my own.
Well, no.
Thanks, Chief.
But, Lois... Chief, don't you think that's a dangerous mission?
Yes, and back in the day, newspaper reporters could fly an airplane.
The hour has come.
I'm a reporter for the...
Whoops.
So, you want a story? I'll give you the greatest story of destruction the world has ever known. How is that for a story, Miss Lane?
city in a grip of terror, went on his rampage of destruction on the stroke of midnight. The deadly impact of his mysterious ray smashed the famous Tower Bridge, hurling cars and pedestrians into the river below. The police have warned everyone to remain in their homes.
This looks like a job for Superman.
I know Towers would never do that, but the animation on the thing is still so fucking amazing. I mean,
It's Superman!
I mean, it just takes some appreciation for how amazing these animations are. Apparently, an indie cartoon with this caliber would probably cost would actually cost $1 million per episode, more like $5 million.
I don't believe it! He isn't human!
Congratulations, Lois. That was a great scoop.
Yes, Chief. Thanks to Superman.
If 2018's Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse taught folks anything, it's that Spider-Man isn't the only spider-person in the Marvel multiverse. And of course, where there's a Spider-Man, there's a disturbingly large rogues gallery of his greatest villains as well. I'm Josh from WhatCulture.com, and these are 10 insane alternate versions of Spider-Man villains. Number 10, Green Goblin of Earth 1610. Over in the Ultimate Universe, otherwise known as Earth 1610, Norman Osborn became the Green Goblin, but not in the same way as in Earth 616. Osborn was working on the super soldier drug for S.H.I.E.L.D., and after seeing an Oz-injected spider bite result in turning Peter Parker into Spider-Man, he got an idea. An awful idea. The future Goblin had a wonderful, awful idea. He theorized that infusing the Oz formula with his own DNA would transform him into a better version of himself. And he was somewhat right and horribly wrong at the same time. The experiment, of course, didn't go to plan, and an explosion resulted in him turning into a giant monster. In terms of appearance, well, he's a giant green goblin, as his name implies. He has large horns, bleeds orange, sees everything in a red filter, and stands at 7 feet tall, weighing in at about 1,000 pounds. He can create fiery bolts of energy, is superhuman in terms of strength, speed, dexterity, healing, stamina, agility, and pretty much everything else you can think of, and thanks to the Oz formula, he's also immortal. Number 9, Sandman of Earth 9214. Sandman is easily one of Spider-Man's most powerful villains, even if he has been defeated by some water and a vacuum cleaner once or twice. Of course, that's in Marvel's Earth 616, and in the Marvel multiverse, there are versions of the character who put up more of a fight. On Earth 9214, which is the Noir universe, Sandman received his powers in the 1920s or early 30s, though he was already powerful before that happened. Flint Marko worked as one of the Crime Master's henchmen, but people called him Sandman anyway due to his penchant for pummeling his victims to death with his bare fists. While he doesn't have the ability to manipulate sand, nor is he comprised of it, Flint Marko here has the ability to internally manipulate his own physiology. He can make his skin harder than granite, which makes it easy for him to stand up to Spider-Man in a fight. Number 8. Dr. Octopus of Earth TRN 700. Dr. Otto Octavius may be the typical version of Doc Ock across the multiverse, but he's hardly the only person to take on that name. On Earth TRN 700, which is the primary universe seen in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Doc Ock is a woman named Dr. Olivia Octavius. Dr. Octavius worked as the head scientist and CEO of Alchemax, but under the table she worked as Wilson Fisk's chief scientific advisor in charge of his project aimed at developing an interdimensional portal. Spider-Man's presence in the energy stream pulled several versions of Spider-Man from their own realities into that of Earth TRN 700. Unlike her Earth 616 counterpart, Doc Ock's arms aren't comprised of metal here. Hers are inflatable and can be called from a harness she wears on her back, which is hidden under her clothing. The arms function much like the other versions of the character, but they are far more versatile and appear to extend further than others. Number 7. Hobgoblin of Earth 9500. On Earth 616, there are several people who have donned the Hobgoblin mantle over the years, and the same is true in other realities. One of the more interesting is the Hobgoblin of Earth 9500, which is set in the year 2211. Robin Bourne was the daughter of Spider-Man in the 23rd century, but after she developed a theory about the demise of the multiverse, she created a suit and weapons, hoping to save everyone from her reality. Her father arrested her after learning that she would become a threat to the time stream in the near future though. She was then rescued from imprisonment by her boyfriend, but removing her from stasis improperly drove Robin insane. She retrieved her suit and weapons from a time sandwich, which kept them 10 seconds in the future, and she became the Hobgoblin of her time. Her weaponry consists of time manipulation devices, which includes something called a retcon bomb. When she attempted to kill her father with this one, she missed and hit her boyfriend, who was erased from existence. From there, she traveled the multiverse intent on using retcon bombs on different versions of Spider-Man. Number 6. Kraven of Earth 7840. In any reality, Kraven is one of the sickest villains Spider-Man has ever had to face. After all, he's a guy who was so into hunting, he opted to hunt Spider-Man after tracking down and killing every other deadly animal in the world. Regardless though, he is ruthless, cunning, and brilliant, which makes for a dangerous foe in Spider-Man's rogues gallery. Kraven exists in many realities of the multiverse, including Earth 7840, which is the reality of the Amazing Man Spider. Earth 7840 40 is a reality where animals have anthropomorphic qualities and live side by side with humans. Insects are more prominent in this reality as well, but all manner of animals are represented. Instead of going by the name Craven then, the villain is known as Marvin the Hunter in this reality, where he's represented as an anthropomorphic feline. Big Marv here is essentially the same character as Craven in Earth 616's continuity, but because he's a villainous cat man who hunts down the man spider, he's certainly the oddest Craven in the multiverse. Number 5. Electro of Earth 1082. Electro is one of those foes who became more dangerous as time went on, eventually becoming incredibly powerful. Initially, Spider-Man could just wear a rubber-lined suit to take on the menace, but after a while, Electro evolved into a being of pure energy, who could travel around the world via electric cables. As in any reality, Electro is a powerful foe, but on Earth 1082, he's at the top of the scale. Mike Dillon was contacted by Max Dillon, his counterpart from another reality, who showed him how to travel the multiverse. The two men then worked together with multiple Doc Ocks to assemble an army of Electros. The army took up residence in Mike's home reality, but he wasn't content with his status as simply being the leader of an army of himself, so opted for an upgrade. Using stolen Kree technology, which was used initially to create the Supreme Intelligence, he transformed himself into something sinister and amazing. He became the foundational personality of a hive mind called the Battery, which made him into a sentient electric charge of energy. Number 4. Venom of Earth 928. Venom has always been a fascinating character, thanks to his humble beginnings as an alien costume for Spider-Man. Fueled by his hate and its rejection, Venom bonded with Eddie Brock, and the two became one of Spider-Man's deadliest foes. Over on Earth 928, though, Venom bonded with Kron Stone, the son of Alchemax director Tyler Stone. He's also the half-brother of Miguel O'Hara, otherwise known as Spider-Man 2099. Kron was tasked by his father to kill the family of Jake Gallows, but when he found his son wounded, he chucked him into the sewer. There he found the Venom symbiote, and the two bonded to become the Venom of the 2099 reality. Over the years it was stuck in the sewers, the Venom symbiote mutated, becoming more powerful than it was in the 20th and 21st centuries. Venom now could spit acidic saliva, and his blood was also acidic like he was a bloody xenomorph or something, but the symbiote also bonded with Kron on a molecular level. This gave him an amorphous physiology, which gave him many of the abilities and properties of the symbiote, including the ability to shapeshift in a limited fashion. Number 3. Vulture of Earth 82081. The Vulture of Earth 616 was all about using his mechanical wings to fly in and out of locations for thieving purposes, but it wasn't long before Spider-Man worked out a way to defeat him. He's popped up numerous times over the years and has caused some problems, but overall he's not as dangerous as the character seen in Spider-Man Homecoming. There are several versions of the Vulture who are far more sinister in other realities though. Adrian Toomes of Earth 82081 is the Vulture of that reality, but things are different in the battle world of New Quack City than they are on Earth 616. In this reality, Toomes is actually a vulture, albeit an anthropomorphic one. Toomes is the leader of the Vulture Robbers, which is an organization made up of vultures who, well, you get the idea. Anyway, Howard the Human owes the gang money, and he and Toomes get into a bit of a confrontation about this fact in Howard the Human #1, which is the character's, sadly, only appearance. Number 2. Scorpion of Earth TRN 700. The Scorpion is one of the few villains created / helped along by J. Jonah Jameson in the main Marvel universe, but over time he went from bad to worse. Tech upgrades and a bad attitude made him far more dangerous to the rest of the world, and it wasn't long before he became one of Spider-Man's rogues. In the reality of Earth TRN 700, Maximus Gargan fled the United States to escape capture. He became a mob boss in Mexico where he worked with the Prowler, and it wasn't long before he hunted his former ally to New York to collect on a debt. The Scorpion of this reality appears to be based primarily on the Scorpion of the Ultimate Universe, though the animated version is far deadlier. Instead of carrying a large scorpion stinger at the end of a chain, the Scorpion of Earth TRN 700 is outfitted with far more mechanical gear. Only his torso, head, and right arm appear to be unaltered, while his left arm is an enlarged scorpion claw. He sits atop a mech suit comprised of 4 mechanical insect-like legs and controls a massive scorpion tail and stinger. He's the mecha version of the Scorpion, and he's as dangerous as he looks. Number 1. Doctor Doom of Earth 8311. In the Marvel Universe, Doctor Doom is primarily a villain of the Fantastic Four, but the ruler of Latveria sets his sights on angering everyone else, so he's been a principal foe to the Silver Surfer, the Avengers, and everyone's friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. It seems he doesn't remain a bad guy to just the Fantastic Four in other realities either, as he's proven he can't play well with anyone in spandex across the entire multiverse. There are numerous versions of Doctor Doom across the Marvel multiverse as well, of course, but the craziest one has to be from Earth 8311. If you don't know, that's the reality that Spider-Ham calls home, and all the characters of that universe are again anthropomorphic animals, including Doctor Doom. Of course, he's not simply called Doctor Doom here, and prefers to go by the moniker Doctor Doom due to the simple fact that, well, he's a duck, but he's still a doctor. In this reality, Doom is pretty much the same guy as he is in others. He's the leader of a nation, he's got a PhD, aka a pretty huge duck, he's a bad guy, and he's got some serious clout in the superpower department, but that's not all. Here, he's also a successful pop star. Man, I just want to buy this dude a drink. So that's our list. Want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Did you already know about these crazy versions of Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery? And are there any that I missed off here? Either way, while you're down there, could you give us a like, share, subscribe, and head over to whatculture.com for more lists and news like this every single day. Even if you don't though, I've been Josh, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.
Okay, that was good.
The MCU is well over 10 years old, and honestly it's one of the most impressive franchises ever put to film. It somehow manages to continually entertain and please fans.
We're back now, we're solid now, we're solid.
Well, wait, why is everyone saying cock at me?
Because...
Do they not like me?
No.
They don't like me, do they? I'm not even on screen anymore. No, you don't even like me.
No, they're saying cock because they have a fascination of. It's because you look like a cock. Sorry. It's because you look like a giant penis.
At least it's a giant one, am I right? Let's go.
Well, that's a great way to get out an interview.
Spiders can crawl in your ear. What was a fact that you regret knowing? That anesthesia doesn't always work.
r/ask Reddit. What made you laugh the hardest in your entire life? Told the story before, but it's still one of my favorites. Small child, maybe 4 years old, is running with two 2-liter bottles of soda. Maybe it was root beer. Lots of bouncing already. Then she trips. Bottles go flying and she face plants. She lifts her head up to cry. And just then, at that perfectly timed moment, the cap blows off one of the bottles into her face, spraying her with soda and foam. Her mother runs over, still pushing the shopping cart for some reason, and naturally, slips on the other soda and trying to catch herself grabs the side of the shopping cart. She and cart tip over. A bag of flour explodes and covers the sticky child. All of this was done with the precision of a 1940s comedy short. It was really impressive, and sadly, I did not get to film it. This is the only one on here to make me actually laugh out loud. I have a Ukrainian co-worker who was several decades older than me, and is a super serious, pretty strange guy. He has a very stereotypical old-school Soviet style to him. He always speaks and identifies as Russian. He heard my friend and I telling trivial amusing stories to each other on a break, and joined our little circle with the biggest smile on his face, looking to join in and relate. He explains that when he was in university he had a car, but his friends destroyed his car by literally bludgeoning it to pieces and then beat him viciously as a prank. You know, as friends do. Then he could barely get through the next part of the story. He was laughing so hard when he explained that from then on he had to run to and from university. He said he ran so often with his bag that he ended up separating his abdominal muscles and severely injuring himself. By this point my friend and I are dying from laughter too. So our comrade feels great about his smash hit of a story and heads back to his desk. I still won't go in a room alone with that guy. Ha 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 ha. It never healed property. Every breath is agony. Son. Ha 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 ha. My friend is from Japan. One time, she was trying to say I was sitting on the bed, and instead she said, I shit the bed. I knew what she had meant to say, but I started laughing uncontrollably, something that was not helped by her yelling, no 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 no, upon realizing she had royally ducked up that sentence. My mom had a Japanese co-worker who would always come over and bring us snacks. This one time she brought us these sweet apples, and she was trying to suggest we eat them with penis butter. Kyoko, you mean peanut butter? Yes, penis butter. I had to leave the room. My 12-year-old self did not have the maturity to handle her accent, but neither did my 45-year-old dad. I teach Japanese students. A passage in our textbook reads she sits in the car and 7/10 students would read it as shits. I learned how truly professional I can be by never giggling by the mental image of she shits in the car, followed by her dad drives the car. He drives to a car wash. Makes me laugh when I'm off duty. Standing on the sidewalk next to one of those metal electrical boxes, my little sister is standing between me and the box. Facing me, she shouts tag year IT, and spins around to run away at a full sprint. She slams into the box just like Wile E. Coyote running into a wall. I have never laughed so hard in my life. The people passing by afterward just saw a 6-year-old crying next to an adult laughing her ass off uncontrollably on the ground. Eventually I composed myself and picked her up and told her she'll be alright. I felt so bad, but damn if I wasn't suppressing giggles the whole way home. What is the age gap between you and your sister? 12-year gap. Happened a couple years ago. What's the age gap now? It was in summer this year actually. There was a middle-aged couple walking in front of me with ice creams. The guy obviously didn't see the step ledge on the floor coming up and tripped over it. As he tripped over, his flailing arm shoved the ice cream right onto an oncoming child's forehead. The ice cream cone stayed in place for a couple of seconds before it slid off. The kid looked like a ducking unicorn. I was literally crying with laughter and it was so hard to compose myself. You had to be there. But OMG, the funniest scene of events ever. Like 9-10 years ago I was at a stoplight with my friend after gorging ourselves nearly to death at a Cece's Pizza. We were in a lane to turn left, and a few cars up going straight were stopped as well. Suddenly, the back window rolls down and this like 13-year-old kid sticks his head out the window, looks into the driver's mirror, and starts professionally sucking the biggest imaginary dong you've ever seen. Like he was going to ducking town. Me and my friend are in tears hyperventilating, we're laughing so hard. He stops abruptly, turns and looks straight at us, still laughing hysterically, and gives us this like of who the hell are you to laugh at me, for like 20 seconds, and then goes back to sucking that imaginary dong. This went on for maybe a minute and a half, and we were crying the whole 30 minutes drive home. I still judge funny things on a scale of 1 to kid sucking imaginary dong at a stoplight.
Check this out. See, these guys are stoked. I mean, look at him. Everyone is pumped about Africa Rocks, the newest and biggest expansion at the San Diego Zoo. Because Africa rocks, well, rocks, and you should come hang. This animal kingdom has 4 awesome African habitats. What's that? They have 5? Wait, 6? And each shows a totally different side of Africa. But this is unexpected Africa. The Africa you don't know. You'll find unexpected animals, unexpected friendships.
In college my roommates and I had a fun ritual for putting away our groceries after shopping. There were so many of them we had to find a fun way to do it. I posted myself with all the bags in the dining room and the other 4 posted in the kitchen. Then, I'd just start throwing the stuff at them. Pretty quick I might add. It didn't matter if it was glass, milk jugs, soda. It got thrown, and they always caught it, until one day I threw a gallon of orange juice. They all thought someone else had it and it ended up exploding all over the kitchen. A gallon of anything is a lot when it's suddenly all over the floor. We all started laughing while trying to clean it up. Tears and everything. But then one of my roommates looked at all of us and said it's a good thing it wasn't milk. Otherwise this would have been an utter catastrophe. At that, we all broke down laughing. On the ground. In the orange juice. It was just too perfect. Our abs and faces hurt so much from all the laughing. In conclusion, I miss my roommates. Edit. Extraneous word. During the peak of those what in tarnation memes, my college buddies and I road tripped from Michigan to Nome for Mardi Gras during our spring break. About 10 hours in, when we were already feeling really goofy bored from the long trip, a tire rolled across the highway in front of the car. My friend, while the tire is still crossing our path, screams what in Nathan, and that stupid ass joke is the hardest I've ever laughed. This is ducking hilarious LMAO. It was by far the quickest off the cuff joke I've ever heard. I was driving and barely registered there was something in the road. The dude is incredibly intelligent, so I think his brain is just really fast. His brain must have a bandwidth upgrade. Meanwhile, here I am still going on a 900 baud modem up there. Sigh. This school near my house had closed down, so me and my 4 brothers went there pretty frequently one summer and essentially made it our personal playground. One day we were there playing basketball, riding our skateboards and whatnot when a cop drives past the school and sees us messing around in there. Obviously we weren't supposed to be there and we got spooked, so we bailed and went to hop the fence and run home. All my brothers can manage the fence well, and we're throwing our bikes over and trying to get the hell out of there before the cop turns the corner. He probably would have just told us to go home, but we were young and worried. As I turned to grab one of the bikes, I look over at my youngest brother, who was probably around 6 or 7 at the time. Got himself caught on the fence as he was coming down. He managed to give himself the most ultimate wedgie I've ever seen. He wasn't holding himself up on anything, but he was suspended up in the air hanging by his underwear. All of us just stopped trying to rush home and started howling with laughter to the point where we could hardly help my screaming brother down from his wedgie. I still remember seeing his ass cheeks hanging out from his wedgie as he was crying, begging for help. Probably my favorite childhood memory. Edit. I told my brother who got the wedgie to guess what I wrote as the story that made me laugh the hardest, and he guessed it on his first try. Haha, thanks for telling me all your wedgie escapades as well. This exact same thing happened to me, except I was an 18-year-old girl. Haha. I was playing sand volleyball with a bunch of guys and girls. The ball goes over this 3 or 4 foot high chain link fence, so I go grab it. I hop it, but my shorts and underwear get caught on the top of the fence. It was just tall enough that my toes barely touched the ground, and so I couldn't use my feet to lift myself off. I was just sort of hanging there, mooning every guy and girl behind me. I finally used what little arm strength I had to lift myself up and unhook my shorts. When I went back to the court, every single person was on the ground laughing. At a party, someone started a riding lawnmower up, turned the steering wheel to the left and put it in high gear so it ran around in circles. It was funny at first but got annoying after a while, so we tried to shut it off. The problem is it was moving pretty fast and we were all too drunk to catch it. Every time one of us would try to grab it and hop on, we would miss, fall over and get ran over by the lawnmower. It got so funny watching everyone try that we couldn't stop laughing. We eventually started throwing rocks at it, which was even funnier trying to see drunk people try and aim a rock at a moving object. This went on for a good hour before it ran out of gas. People got run over by it. Edit. Thank you all. Didn't realize there was a bladeless option. Many died. In the funniest way possible. Blood pours along the street as people cheer and laugh. Flesh shredding buzzing sound. In a college cafeteria, my friend and I sit down with a few guys we knew a bit but not really well. My friend starts asking them what they like, just in a totally vague and weird way, but very much his style. He then proceeds to say I like, and then lists completely random things for at least 30 minutes. Probably more. They sat there with very confused looks on their faces. I was sick with what I found out was mono and my throat was absolutely killing me. I thought I might die from the pain of laughter. I came across this guy on Xbox Live with the name Bilbo T. Baggins. IDKY, my brother and I were crying laughing. I'd always see a guy playing named Sand Sanitizer. It was so simple and stupid, but just so inexplicably funny. Duck, that rolls off the tongue so easy I'll never be able to pronounce hand sanitizer again. We have seat heaters in our car, and one day the wife said turn on the heat seaters. Now both of us can't stop saying it. So at lunch in HS, my friend group had one kid who was always the butt of the joke. Let's call him Simon. Simon always got made fun of, because well, he was an awkward kid. There was only 4 of us and sometimes Simon took it a little hard. So when walking with him to lunch I told him that he's gotta push back and not just take it or nobody will respect him. I told him that when the other people bust his chops he's gotta say some shit back and I'll back him up. We get to lunch and I'm thinking I just imparted some great wisdom in this kid. When we see our buddies Parthik and Ranello laughing at some stupid joke, Simon, thinking they're laughing at him, stomps right up to them with a smile of malice on his face. Something funny, Ranello? He says as Ranello is in hysterics. Simon then grabs his pizza stick, the lunch entree, dips it ketchup, and smears it all over Ranello's face. You like that, you cheesy duck? Simon says. The hysterical laughter at the table, which was not directed at Simon before, now is. Ranello is now laughing at the absurdity of the situation, unable to get a word out, as Simon is molesting his face with a pizza stick, asking him if he's enjoying. As Ranello mouths the words "what the duck" between bouts of laughter, eventually things calm down and they explain to Simon that they were not, in fact, laughing at him when he approached the table. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. Thanks for watching, mate. Make sure to smash that like button and subscribe for more high quality content.
Ah, shoot!
Aw, aren't you the cutest thing? Are you lost or something? Come on, let's go find your parents.
What the?
What have you done to me?
Ooh, that's not creepy. So yeah, I'm just working. Work myself down to the bone. Let's see. Yeah, looks like a quiet stream right now. That's such a shame. It would be nice to actually talk to some people, but I guess everyone's kind of busy. Anyway, I'm actually going to go ahead and call it a night. It started at 2 o'clock here. Thank you for watching my stream, and hope to see you in the next one.